Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Atri, My Dear Moments. And in the previous episode, we found out that 1, the school is probably going to get shut down, and it's very obvious why, for many reasons. And 2, we found out that Atri is pretty dang useless. Like, she wants to be useful. I can see that ambition out of her, and she says that she is useful, and then proves otherwise. Which, you know, we can make fun of her and all that, but, you know, something I've been thinking about is that it really humanizes her character. You know, she's able to joke around. She isn't as serious as you would anticipate a high-performance robot, like she says that she is, to be. So, we got a little bit of that in the previous episode as well. Anyways, I believe we are going to school. Before class, we stop by the market district. There are some things I need for today's lessons, as well as Atri's log. Pick whichever one you like. Get yourself one for class too while you're at it. I hand her a few coins. Come on, don't waste too much time picking, we'll be late. No reply. This could take a while. I'll go and grab what I need while she's pondering over paper. I think I'll be able to find what I need at that junk shop from before. Suddenly I feel a tug on my arm. It's Catherine, isn't it? A hand grabs at me, pulling me into a dimly lit back street, It is. Pinned against the wall, I see a familiar face inches from mine. Hey, Catherine. Damn, she's not a happy person right now, despite how, you know, she's smiling and whatever else. No, she is angry. Pressed into my chest, glinting in the light, is a knife. Oh, come on, you wouldn't kill just a, you know, regular innocent boy. What are you doing? Not a whole lot. Does she think I'm planning to sell Atri and take all of the money for myself? Yes. You know, nail on the head right there. If that's the case, I should clear up the misunderstanding. Not that the truth will go down well either. Even if I'm not planning to sell Atri, it's true that I'm keeping her all to myself, even if that's probably not how Atri sees it. Catherine brings the knife up to my throat. Hey now, I just didn't know how to contact you. I don't think she would want that. The tip of the knife digs into my skin. I'm sure this has to be a bluff, but faced with the amount of money the junk shop owner promised us, anyone could go a little crazy, especially in the end times. Atri peers around the corner. She must have noticed me disappear. Atri, don't come over here, run! Just a little bit of evil doing from somebody. Don't. Atri doesn't move. She doesn't try to help me either, and that would involve potentially harming a human. Of the 3 laws of robotics, the first, that a robot should never harm a human, has always been treated as particularly important. If a robot was to hurt a human, that would cause a scandal. It could spell disaster, not just for the manufacturer, but the entire market. When robots were big business, safety was paramount. Though Atri might be able to put herself in danger and even take a blow for me, she wouldn't be able to fight back against Catherine. It would be better for me to have her run and get help. No, I'll be full of holes by the time she gets back. But I will respect him not being as selfish as, you know, he could be here. I mean, people can be very selfish when they're faced with, you know, life-threatening danger and such. This could well be a bluff. Catherine wouldn't gain anything from stabbing me, but I can't be entirely sure of that. I could try to escape, but there's no chance of me outrunning her on this leg.
坊や、早くしなさい。
Agitated, she presses me against the wall, the knife's tip pointing ominously between my eyes. What just happened? I raise my arm instinctively and the blade grazes against my arm. I feel a trickle of red on my skin.
ロケットパーンチ
There she is. Huh? Wait, she just straight up fought back? Wow. Catherine's limp body goes sprawling all the way back out onto the main street, propelled by the enormous force of Atri's two-handed, almost tackle-like attack. Yeah, you weren't expecting that one. Clutching her stomach, she turns her head back toward us with her eyes facing in different directions. Atri stands over her handiwork for a moment with her hands on her hips, before trotting over to me.
大丈夫ですか、夏希さん。
Yeah, she grazed me with the knife, but it's just a flesh wound.
血が出ています。手当てしないと。
Listen, I'm fine. There's a decent amount of blood, but the wound itself isn't deep. A crowd of rubberneckers starts to form around us. Atri glares at Catherine.
私の必殺技の威力はどうですか？これでも手加減した方ですよ。
So back on what I was talking about earlier, yeah, Atri is definitely different. She is definitely more human than you could really believe.
本気を出せばこうです。
Doing things that, I guess the robots of this world just would not do. And she saved her master. She saved a friend, a human friend, by attacking another human. She picks up the knife. Holding it lightly between her fingers, the blade starts to bend like rubber. The assembled crowd oohs appreciatively. Atri tosses the mangled blade on the ground in front of Catherine. With a whimper, she grabs it and springs to her feet.
覚えてなさいよ、あんたたち。
Fighting through the laughing horde, she runs off.
夏希さんを害する存在は追い払いました。偉かったですか？褒めてください。
Actually, she was useful. She actually was the opposite of how she was in the previous episode. Right. She leans in and, still dumbstruck, I instinctively reach out to pat her head. Her hair is so soft and delicate in my fingers.
ちゃんと役に立つでしょ？
Atri, you... Nothing. She harmed a human. No normal robot could do that. She did say that she was a military robot. That was a lie, though. She admitted it herself. According to her serial number, she's a completely normal consumer market model. Assuming that's not some kind of camouflage? Everything I know about robots is just what I've read in books. Maybe depending on their type, there are some humanoids that are able to attack others to prevent their master coming to harm. I mean, that would still be very controversial, though.
これは喜んでいいことですよね。
I feel like that could be used against people in a lot of ways as well, just to get away with shit. And to just, again, it's controversy. However, these are the end times, so it's hard to say whether people really give a shit. And maybe Atri realizes that a lot of these laws don't really mean anything. Maybe she has a better understanding of the world than we actually think that, we even ourselves do, Yeah, I suppose so. Atri grins up at me.
そうだ、手当てしないと。薬局です。
She grabs me by the hand and leads me through the market. Well, hopefully we're on this town's good side, and we don't stand out badly anymore. Hopefully through all of that, we're looking a little better.
ヒットマンだ。
Oh, never mind. The first thing Rurika does when I walk into the classroom is point at me. Someone should teach this little shit some manners.
夏希さんの敵ですか？やるか、子分。望むところです。
Stop it, Atri. No killing kids. Not today, at least.
わかりました、やめます。命拾いしましたね、子供。子分のくせに生意気だ。
The two of them square up to each other like children play fighting, but if Atri tried what she did to Catherine to Rurika, well, I shouldn't think about that.
あ、ナツくん、おはよう。アトリちゃんもおはよう。おはようございます。みんなも、昨日は素敵なパンツをありがとうございました。
Oh my god, stop wording things so wrong.
ナツくんが?
She has to know what she's saying. Like, honestly, she has to know what she's doing at this point. Shut up, Toaster. Morning, Minamo.
今日も来てくれた。ダメだ、みなもちゃん。こいつに近づいちゃう。こいつはみなもちゃんに告白する気なんだ。ナツくんが？もう、そんなわけないじゃない。
Not today, at least.
私が守る。バカなこと言ってないで、教室に入りなさい。ホームルーム始めるわよ。
Oh, it's him. He's back. The lineup in the classroom is exactly the same as yesterday. Just us, the little kids, and Ryuji. The latter isn't asleep today, but he is gazing languidly out of the window. He glances over for just a moment, before going back to seemingly more important matters. Well, no surprise there.
今日は授業の前に学級会をします。テーマは廃校問題について。みんなもう知ってると思うけど、うちの学校はこのままだと廃校になってしまいます。
And again, it really shouldn't be surprising.
理由は生徒が少なくて新しい先生が来てくれないからです。みんなどうしたらいいと思う？はい、リリカ、鶴田さんに先生になってもらう。
Who's that?
商店街にある駄菓子屋のおじさんだよ。物知りで話が面白いの。
Well, I hate to say it, but no random-ass person should actually be a teacher. I know, again, the end times, the dying times, here we are. You take what you can get, but still, you could probably do better.
鶴田さんは何でも知ってるんだ。
Has he got a teaching license? If he doesn't, he's not going to be able to help. Rurika freezes up.
表面インコ。何それ?
Oh, God.
ガキ相手にマジレスすんなよ。
Ryuji grumbles from the corner. Sorry, forget I said anything.
そうだよね。物知りなおじさんってだけじゃ先生にはなれないもんね。やっぱり私がいっぱい勉強して教員免許を取るしかないね。
Minamo clenches her fist resolutely. You know how long that would take, right? By the time you've been to university and come back, this place will be long gone. Besides, even if she did come back, the current class would have already graduated, and if this place has got any new students by then, well, I just don't think it'd be in any real trouble anyway.
ダメか。
さっきから反対意見ばっか言ってっけど、自分はなんかねえのかよ。
Me? How about you try giving it a think? I only arrived here yesterday. And then only because Atri twisted my arm.
俺は勉強なんかやったって意味ないって言ってんだよ。
Good
学
attitude.
校なんざさっさとなくなっちまえ。
That's great. And yet here you are staring out of the window. I'm not quite sure I get this guy.
アトリちゃんは何かない？
He's probably hiding his real intentions deep down.
この宇宙に永遠に続くものなんてありません。だから終わることを嘆いても意味なんてありません。終わりまでの間をどのように過ごすかが大事なんじゃないかと思います。
Okay. Well, that was poetic.
終わりまでの間をどう過ごすか。
Minamo seems thrown off by Atri's unexpectedly sagacious answer.
で
There
す
we
から
go.
早
I
く
can say
授業をや
words.
りましょう。私勉強がしたいです。そうだね。そうしよっか。
There's no point wrestling with the problem that has no solution after all. The class meeting ends as suddenly as it started. Minamo rings the
じゃ
handbell.
あ休み時間にします。遊びに行くわ。
The little kids hurriedly scurry out of the classroom. Where do they actually go to play? The whole place is underwater. I guess you could play in the halls. The empty classrooms, I mean, why not?
ああ、かったるい。
Yuji groans with theatrical loudness and flops out onto the desk asleep. What does this guy do all day? Besides school, like, what are you to do here? What is to make you so tired?
はーい、授業を始めるわよ。遅刻した子は掃除当番だよ。
You have to appreciate how she's trying to at least keep the spirit of school alive. Minamo sticks her hand out of the door and rings the bell, and the children scramble back into the classroom.
セーフ！セーフ！待って！
Rurika comes flying through the doorway.
みなもちゃん、セーフだよね。ギリギリセーフ。さ、早く席に着いて。セーフだった。危なかった。
I get the feeling she was saved by the Minamo bell there.
では、今日は理科の授業です。特別講師の先生をお呼びしています。特別講師？
Oh, you're not gonna like who it is.
ナツくんです。お前か。
Don't look so disappointed. It hurts. I walk up to the front of the class, dragging Atri with me.
では、よろしくお願いします。
Yeah, what do we have planned here, you know? What do we have in store? So yesterday a certain someone said something that caught my interest. What's the point of studying if you're not going to university? I'm going to show you why that's wrong. I lay out the ingredients that I bought at the market on the teacher's table.
豆球だ。赤とか青のコードもある。わかった。爆弾を作るんだな。
You're not really on the right track, but I'll, give you A for effort on the creativity there. What kind of school do you think this is? A terrorist training camp? Nope, that's back to Grisaya. There's a light bulb, some wires, and a motor. Today we're going to use these. I start to draw something out on the blackboard. To make electricity. In other words, a generator.
発電機？そんなの作れるの？
Well, we don't have electricity in this town, do we? But if we learn how, we can make it ourselves. A basic generator is simple. We're just going to use some principles that you'll find in any textbook.
へえ。
So let's do a little experiment.
理科の実験だって。
難しそう。
Now, they only get hard whenever you're at the university level. Goddamn. Fuck physics. Honestly. Just whatever else in the world, it's fine. But physics? Physics. Jesus Christ, at the university level. I guess it was technically the college level still, but I had to take 2 physics courses as prerequisites for my for meeting all the shit for my degree, which was in computer science, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. So I took the first class over at my community college, but they weren't offering the second one, and it was a follow-up. And what was even trickier is that I did the calculus-based one, but then I switched over to the trigonometry-based one for the follow-up when I went to university. And it was still fucking hard. It's not like I got out of like a whole bunch of shit there. I think the reason why I couldn't take the calculus-based one is because they required Calculus 3, and I failed that. Anyways, first I'll need you guys to assemble some parts. The whole point of that rant was that I hated the fucking labs there. What we've got here won't be enough for a generator. I want you to split up and find everything we need. I start to sketch out the parts that we're looking for on the board. Although they're all simple parts, it would be hard to guess exactly what we're going to do with them. You should be able to find them around the school. Okay, get searching.
何それ？宝探しみたいだ。面白そう。
行こうぜ。
待ってよ。
The 3 young ones rush out of the door.
私たちも行きましょう。負けてはいられません。ロボットの保険が。
Okay, stop pulling me.
なんだか楽しそう。
Is he gonna participate, I wonder? The 3 of us head downstairs. It's pretty amazing, really. You wouldn't think this place could still be a school. The second floor is inundated with water running through the corridors like rivers.
お魚。
Little fish swim through the gaps between Atri's bare feet, her loafers safely left on the stairs.
見つ ち潮になると海水が流れ込んでくるの。初等部の子らの遊び場だね。危ないからダメって言ってるんだけど。
I really hope they don't learn the hard way of how dangerous it could be down here. So this is where they ran off to during the last break. Seems like we've got more classrooms than we could ever need, though.
昔は校舎いっぱ
Oh,
いにな
I'm
るくらい
sure.
生徒がいたんだって。
I'm sure these buildings are made to be big to encompass a shit ton of people. That would have been quite some time ago before the Great Sea Rise, before Atri was constructed even. Compared to the peak of humanity's population, schools everywhere have dramatically fewer students now.
あっち見に行こ
Oh yeah, the population has dropped. The children go splashing ahead of us through the water.
う。ほら、廊下は走っちゃダメでしょ。転ぶわよ。そんなのみなもちゃんだけだよ。なにを。
As she raises her hand in protest, she loses her footing. I barely manage to grab hold of her and prop her up.
危なかった。ありがとう、ナツくん。
And we did that with one leg. Jeez, it's just like the kid said.
そそっかしくてごめんなさい。みんなも赤くなっています。
And of course, she's pointing out the obvious, like we all know.
熱がありますか？
Huh? Do you?
そうかも。
Yeah, cover it up. I press the back of my hand to her forehead.
ナツくん。
Huh, you are a little hot. A summer's cold is never a good thing. You should rest up a little.
大丈夫だよ。ナツくん優しい。
Oh boy. It's not the deepest romantic interest that we've seen in a visual novel, but it's there. After half an hour of searching, everyone returns to the classroom. So let's see what you've got. I start to examine the assembled materials with the eye of a pirate captain looking over some plundered booty.
私のも。
The children are fizzing with energy, proudly holding out the things that they've gathered.
ゆりかは何を見つけてきたの？これだ。
For a second, she darts out of the classroom and returns pushing a bicycle.
一番の大物だぞ。
ヒットマンの話聞いてなかったのかよ。
でっかければいいってものじゃないと思う。所詮は子供の浅知恵。
Jesus.
私よりおちびさんですし。そんなのどこで拾ってきたの？こないだ校舎裏に流れてきたの拾ったんだ。私自転車乗れないけど。
Yeah, probably not the greatest time to be riding bikes either, or location. Huh, we might be able to use this. I closely examine the slightly rusty frame.
本当？
We won't really know unless we disassemble it, but this might be just what we need. You've done well, everyone. Let's divide these up between you all. Everyone grins contentedly. So we're going to use these to make a wind turbine. Do any of you know how generators work?
Hi!
Minamo sticks her hand up and waves it eagerly.
前に授業で習ったわ。ね、コイルの近くで磁石を動かすと電気が生まれます。これを電磁誘導と言います。
Exactly.
おー、みなもちゃんすげー。イエイ。
Gee, she's celebrating like she's just like one of the kids. If you rotate a magnet inside a coil, you can make a pretty efficient source of electricity. You just need to have a way to keep the magnet spinning, and a way of extracting the power from the system. The motor, essentially the heart of a generator, would be a little beyond some kids to make, hence why I bought one at the junk shop. We're just going to make a device that will make it spin. I start to sketch out a blueprint on the blackboard of how we're going to assemble our parts. To tell the truth, I wasn't sure at all that we would find exactly what we needed, but I thought it might make the kids more enthusiastic if they were making something with items that they found themselves. So, that's how we're going to make it.
図工の時間だな。
やろうぜリリカ。
でも自転車のタイヤどうやって取るの？
Atri, give them a hand.
ラジャーです。
Atri's strength is enough that she's able to effortlessly tear the bike into pieces.
すげえ。
こいつヒットマンの子分じゃなかったのかよ。ただものじゃないぞ。
悪口言ってごめんなさい。
You should be sorry. That's a goddamn robot right
驚い
there.
ていますね、おちびたち。
After what seems like a disassembly and more like a, or less like a disassembly and more like an I don't know what that is, we get to work building our windmill. Sorry, guys. If a word has more than 5 syllables, it's way too much for me. I don't even think that did. The whole time, Ryuji is sitting bored in the corner of the room.
ねえ、りゅうちゃんもやろうよ。得意でしょ、こういうの。
ああ、めんどくせえ。誰があんな野郎の言いなりになるか。それに、俺がやっちまったら、チビどもがやることなくなっちまうだろ。
あ、そっか。りゅうちゃん本職だもんね。
Wait, what?
へったくそだな。
貸して、やってあげる。
The children are clumsily throwing the parts together, but they're just about making something that might work. I sit back and merely offer directions. There's not much else to do. I'm in the middle of a wide yawn when they shout over to
で
me.
きたぞ、ヒットマン先生。
Okay, let me see. I hate that we're just kind of accepting the nickname there, but I can't say it's perfect, but it's good enough. There's a set of rotors constructed from a bicycle wheel and blades made from the fabric from an umbrella, a stand to keep it vertical, and a motor attached to an axle running through the wheel's center. It may look like a pile of trash, but it has all the ingredients of a real wind turbine. It's not the prettiest machine in the world, but still. The wheel creaks as I try to turn it. I give it a little oiling. Right, let's get this thing up on the roof. We're about to see some crazy shit. There's a perfect breeze blowing outside. I attach wires to the motor's outputs and hook them up to a light bulb. It's a particularly old-fashioned incandescent model, the kind that's practically unused today. They were being sold for close to nothing at the junk shop. I cover it with a box with a single pinhole cut into it. Okay, time to start our experiment. The turbine's blades pick up the wind, and slowly it starts to turn. After a moment...
光った。
どれ見せて。ほんとだ。
The power of electricity.
わあ。
We should next teach them about the dangers of it, because goddamn. The children take turns peering into the hole, while I try adjusting the angle of the windmill.
光ってる。電気だ。すげえ。
ああ。でもよ。
これだけ？
They all look up at me curiously.
もっとブワーって明るくならないのか？
教室にある扇風機動く？
This is just an experiment for now. I'm just showing you how the stuff in your textbooks can actually be useful. For a tiny generator like this, one light bulb is about all it can manage.
とも役に立たないじゃんか。
I mean, it's the idea. It's the fucking idea.
なあ、ヒットマン先生。これで本読んだり、夜中トイレ行ったりできる？
If we don't make this thing more efficient, it probably won't be enough for any of that.
そっか。
Marika hangs her head. All of the energy that the kids had before has completely vanished in an instant. Sorry, I guess it isn't useful after all. Studying really is pointless. With downcast expressions all around, the experiment comes to a close. I mean, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that any of this was useless. This was actually really clever stuff. It's such an unfortunate situation for the kids because I'm sure they have an idea of electricity and how great it can be to an extent, a very limited extent. But when you're just shown how something works, and it's that electricity, you know, it's that grand magic, but it's not the grandest that you have ever, I guess, either seen or heard of it being. It's going to be a letdown. It is. I mean, the kids and probably everybody else here in this story wants normal, but normal's never coming. The gentle lilt of the radio floats on the shoreline waves. I sit bathed in the lights leaking from the ship's windows, enjoying the evening coolness.
あ、わかりました。
Sitting next to me, Atri suddenly cries out.
これ、今日の授業で習ったやつですね。
She points with triumph at the little rotor trundling in the gentle breeze.
これで船の電気を作ってるんだ。
Exactly. What we made earlier was a much more simple design, though. The ship's generator has a built-in weather vane, which automatically tilts the rotors to the most optimal angle to catch the wind. It was made by my grandmother to aid with her oceanographical field work. She must have wanted to be able to use electricity no matter how far out to sea she was.
今日、明かりが灯った一瞬、皆さん笑顔でした。笑顔は喜びの証拠。皆さん喜んでいたんですよね。
Yeah, very temporarily. Yeah, if only for a moment. The less said about afterwards, the better.
いいことしましたね、なつきさん。
Really now, all I did was disappoint them.
一瞬でも喜びを与えたのなら、それはいいことじゃないんですか？
Though I will say this is related to what I said in the previous episode or the one before. Somewhere in there, I was talking about how schools really do have you learn a whole bunch of shit, right? And you don't know what direction you're ever going to go into. But math is a huge one, and science is right there up with it. I think, what is it, STEM? Whatever all that stands for. I know science, math, engineering, that's all in there. So, they're very, very important stuff. Atri peers up at me with an inquisitive look. Mostly engineering. I'd say engineering utilizes everything from math and science to be able to do the craziest of shit. I'm hungry. Let's get dinner. I simply stand and walk towards the door. You okay? What's wrong?
靴がありません。
She's right. She's completely barefoot.
えっと、
God damn it.
そうだ。学校に忘れてきちゃったんだ。
I mean, we can get them tomorrow. It's dark out. I remember now. She took them off before we wadded through the second floor hall earlier. She's been barefoot ever since. She probably forgot because she's so used to being barefoot. I didn't realize it at all. I was so absorbed in my own sadness about disappointing everyone that I didn't think of her at all. I feel my cheeks burning red. I was really so upset over a tiny little failure.
なつきさん、取りに行ってもいいですか？
You can get them tomorrow, right? It's not like the school's going to sink overnight.
でも、あの靴はなつきさんが買ってくださったもので。
I really don't think you're gonna lose them. I want to yell at her not to lose them in the first place, but I managed to bite my tongue. I didn't notice that she wasn't wearing them myself after all. Okay, don't make that face.
ありがとうございます、なつきさん。
Well, off to the school we go in the dead of night. Oh, it's not totally dark yet, is it? The two of us trudge all the way back to the school. The building is devoid of all light. It looks like just another part of the landscape, a black monolith in the night. The only sound is the waves crashing against its concrete walls, which, that's gotta be very eerie itself. I can't see anything at all.
任せてください。私のロボットアイを高感度モードに切り替えます。
That's just gonna benefit you. Atri pulls us over to the school on the boat. There's a long rope hung between the shore and the makeshift pier, letting us make the crossing without paddling. She helps me out and we enter the building. Yeah, she's the only one here that's really going to be able to see all that great. Being out here in this uncanny concrete edifice would usually be creepy, but so little moonlight is penetrating the seafoam clouded windows that it's too gloomy to feel the thrill of the unusual. The darkness is so overwhelming that I feel my chest tighten. You're still there, aren't you, Atri?
いますよ、ここに。
She tightens her grip on my hand. The pressure lifts from my chest ever so lightly. It's pitch black. I can't see anything.
大丈夫ですよ。私が手を引いてあげますから。
Yeah, for better or for worse, we just gotta put our full trust into her. I'm counting on you.
なつきさんがとっても素直です。かわいい。
Yeah, thanks. I grind my teeth, but I'm in no position to start chewing her out right now.
こっちですよ。あ、足元気をつけ。
And we go for a fall, right? My toe stubs against a piece of fallen debris and Atri has to grab hold of me to stop me from falling.
大丈夫ですか夏希さん
You could have said that a little quicker, you idiot.
失敗したのにツッコミが優しい
That's character development. Look, I'm not good with the dark. I really am counting on you here, Atri.
夏希さんが私を頼っているドドーンと任せてください
I can't help but feel a little uneasy, regardless or potentially because of how enthusiastic she is. But at least I can count on her to be cheerful, regardless of the reality of the situation. She steadily leads me to our usual classroom. So, are they here?
見当たりません
Did you leave them on that floor? Or like on the stairs of the floor? Are you sure you left them here? Try to remember back.
あ、屋上かもしれません
Why would you have taken them off on the roof? God damn it, man. We make our way up the stairs. The roof is shining pale blue in the moonlight, significantly less gloomy than inside.
夏希さん待ってください
What's up?
誰かいます
What? Is it Ryuji? Looking over at where Atri is pointing, I notice a tiny red glow. And there, dimly lit by it, is a human figure.
ここで待っててください
Atri starts to sneak toward it, her bare feet completely silent. But before Atri reaches it, a flicker of light illuminates the figure's face. Oh, no. Wow. Rurika? This is very surprising, actually. I was thinking that we would come across Ryuji in a very, interesting situation based on the hint that we were given not too long ago about what he does for work, whatever that is. But no, it's this child, which is odd. Like, what is she doing here? She studied all day, or goes to school all day, has fun with the other kids and all that. What more can she really do? It's kind of hopeless in a lot of ways. The light is coming from the turbine we made in class.
うわまた消えたよいしょよいしょ
God damn it. The wind is so gentle tonight that the windmill isn't turning at all. Rurika is turning the bicycle wheel with her hand. Each time she does, the light bulb fizzes into life. It seems like she's been reading a book by that dim glow, staring at it with furious intensity. She's so engrossed in her attempt to keep going that she doesn't notice us at all.
おりゃーわなんだ捕まえましたよ観念しなさいお化けやだ食べないで
Yeah, it's gotta be terrifying for a child. Rurika panics, flapping her arms around and raining slaps down on Atri's face.
おとなしく
Well, that was an easy defeat.
いい子にするから許してパパママ
Calm down, kid, it's us.
ヒートマン
Yeah, thanks.
ついに私を殺しに来たらくっそ
Wow, her attitude really changed here. The same flurry of blows batters my own head. I said to calm down. We just came here to get something Atri forgot. Also, I'm not an assassin. What are you doing out here so late anyway?
ここが私の家だもん
What? You live at the school? Don't you have a mom and dad and any other family?
ない
She shakes her head in a matter-of-fact fashion.
なヒートマンこれすごいなこうやって手で回すと明かりがつく
Well, it's meant to be the wind turning it. Possibly due to the slipshod construction, it doesn't seem like the blades will ever spin without a pretty strong breeze. It looks a little different from earlier. Did you do something to it? Has she tried to improve it?
うんこの本読んで真似したんだけどうまくいかなくて手で回す方が楽ちんなんだ
I glance at the book. In the dim light, I can just about make it out as a textbook on renewable energy. You're really reading something this advanced. Where did you even get this?
図書室いっぱい本がある。
Oh, I'd believe it.
でも難しくて全然わからないんだ。教えてよヒトマン先生。
The name is Natsuki. What don't you understand? Probably literally everything?
電気が位置エネルギーになるってどういうこと？
Yeah, I
位置エ
mean,
ネルギーって何？
trying to create your own form of electricity here is pretty advanced stuff. Well, potential energy is the energy something has when it's lifted up in the air, which becomes kinetic energy when it falls. I take the thick book Rurika has been reading from her hands. Hold out your hands. She hesitantly does as I say, and I drop the book down for her to catch it. She tilts her head quizzically as it falls into her hands. I take it from her again and drop it once more, this time from a little higher. It falls into her hands with a heavy thud. Her face lights up with understanding as she feels the sensation in her fingers. The heavier the object and the higher you drop it from, the more potential it has. You can convert electricity into potential energy in order to store it. For example, you could use spare electricity from a wind turbine to pump water up high, store it, and then release it to drive a water wheel even when there's no wind to drive your windmill, turning the potential energy back into electricity. Yeah, I never understood this shit back in high school, and I probably still don't, but Rurika listens intently to my explanation. It seems like it's getting through to her. As she learns more and more, she starts asking questions on all kinds of topics. The impromptu lesson gets more and more in depth.
風車より水車の方がたくさん電気を作れるんでしょ？水車作ったらもっと明るくできる？
It's true that it would be more efficient, but that doesn't mean it's the solution to everything. It would need to be placed somewhere where there's a good amount of water, so if you don't have somewhere suitable...
そっか、水車があっても水がないとダメなのか。でも学校に水たくさんあるよ。
Do you know what the water's got to be doing to make a water wheel move, though? She bites her lip and thinks.
同じ方向に流れてる？
Exactly. You need a clear, uninterrupted running stream in one direction, something like a river or an aqueduct. No matter how much water we have around here, its flows are so unpredictable that it's not possible to practically dam it off.
でも高いところに水を運べばいいんでしょ？
If we could create a flow from a high place like that, we could get an efficient source of power. But how do you think we'd lift the water? In order to get the water high enough to then make it flow down, we'd have to expend more energy than we'd eventually make.
エネルギー保存の法則か。
Oh, you've already been taught about that?
本に書いてあった。
She answers immediately.
学校で水力発電をしようと思ったら、一定方向に水を流すか、高いところに運ぶ必要があるんだな。難しいな。
Rurika, you were trying to read this, or to read by this light, right? What kind of books do you usually read?
図書室の本、端っこから読んでるから何でも読むよ。月が明るい日はここで読めるんだ。
You know, I didn't have you pinned for a smart kid, given what an annoying, lively sprite you are.
よく言われる。
Now that I think about it, I did notice that she was unusually quick to pick up what we were learning in class. Yeah, it's not usual for kids to be able to piece this shit together in order to make a little wind turbine, honestly. I had such a strong preconception of her as just a loud little brat that I didn't think too much of. She's not just smart either. She's the curious type too, and naturally good at lateral thinking.
なあ、ヒトマン先生。
Could not be me. Natsuki, the name is Natsuki.
勉強はしても無駄なのか？
Huh?
今日言ってただろ？やっぱり無駄だって。
I think he was just down in the dumps, honestly. Do you want to study more?
今日ね、ヒットマンじゃないや、夏木先生の授業、
There you
ヘト
go.
ヘトになるくらい大変だったけど、
There
面
you
白かったんだ。もっといろんなことが知りたいって思った。
She smiles widely, her eyes glimmering in the moonlight, full to the brim with childlike wonder. I remember a time when I still had this kind of pure curiosity in me. Before I entered the academy, long before that even, before that tunnel collapsed on us and I lost everything. So that's why you're reading all these difficult books.
夜はいつも暇なんだ。真っ暗で一人ぼっちだとやることがないから。月が明るい日はギリギリ本が読める。もっと明るいのがあるといいなって思ってたんだ。
She spins the windmill and sighs. A mellow reddish glow illuminates her wistful smile. Whatever you want to do in the future is up to you. But in order to enjoy that freedom, you need to have the ability to make choices. And studying can help increase the amount of choices you have.
そっか。ありがとう、夏希先生。
I mean, admittedly, I'm still learning today. I feel like a lot of us are in our own ways. Like, not too long ago, I even studied for a certain something, just because I wanted to keep learning. I'm learning more in what I'm, doing my work for, my current, profession. And then there's also programming, which I've abandoned, but here and there, I keep up on some very specific things. It reminds me of what I've learned. We're always learning, whether we're seeking it out or maybe we are, but we're always picking it up because we got to keep growing. We got to keep on creating those opportunities for us. That's life. It just all the way through. We got to keep learning. She smiles widely as she spins the windmill, turning her attentions back to the book. Gazing down at that contented little face, I remember something my father told me once. No one can be a scholar without one thing: curiosity. The Academy claims to be our best hope for finding the people who will save the Earth. But who knows if anybody there can really do that? Maybe no one can save it, or maybe it'll be saved by some curious genius, completely unrelated to the Academy. Could be. I mean, the smartest people in the world don't have to go to the greatest locations. Maybe it will even be this kid. As I peer over her shoulder, her hands suddenly stop. What's up?
おしっこ。
Well, yeah, that happens. Luckily, we have Atri. I find myself waiting outside the girls' toilets in the inky blackness. My eyes have grown somewhat accustomed to the darkness, and now I can at least make out vague shapes around me.
絶対そこで待っててよ。絶対だからな。
How does she deal with this whenever she's here alone? There's no way she actually lives here, honestly. There's a lot of questions that I have to ask and how people have been, comfortably living. Comfortably with a huge ass asterisk, by the way, goddamn. But like, what is people's hygiene levels like? How do people use a restroom? How do people obtain food? There's a lot of questions still to be asked here if we want to get into the specifics of this dying world. I get it, hurry up. Honestly, I thought you were supposed to be a big, clever girl, and you're too scared to go to the toilet at night.
夏希さんみたいですね。
Hey, when did I ever say I'm scared to take a pee?
夏希さんはトイレは大丈夫ですけど、寝るときは私がいないとダメじゃないですか。そうなのか？
Shut your faces, both of you.
今ので止まっちゃった。
This might take a while. Oh, I guess plumbing is totally fine.
はい、すっきり。
So there's that, Plumbing is totally still all good. Huh. So you've got running water here, but not electricity.
シャワーもある。
Well, okay, we're answering some questions, just one by one here. Really?
夜は真っ暗で使えないけど。
I do have a shower on my ship too, but powering the water pump is so energy intensive that I don't use it that often. Normally I go to a bathhouse in town, but it's expensive enough that I can only afford to go a couple of times a week. I hear an unmistakable gurgle. We really are tackling all the fucking questions I just threw out, aren't we?
お腹すいた。
Where do you actually get your food?
みなもちゃんとりゅうちゃんが。
Hey, yo. His muscular frame appears at the door.
よ、飯持ってきてやったぞ。
Hey, yo. Is he a bit of a guardian or something here?
いただきまーす。
Wow, okay. Well, we answered 3 questions that I just threw out in, nothing. That was quick. Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Night school. This has been a little surprising, I have to admit. I wasn't really expecting Marika to be here doing what she's doing. I wasn't expecting Atri to... You know what? No, I kind of expected her to forget her goddamn shoes here. It just fits her character. Ryuji, on the other hand, I guess we are also tackling what he is up to. So, very interesting stuff. Well, anyways, thank you all for tuning into this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.